Hi everybody, Andy Scott, the trainer coach. Just want to quickly touch on a subject with you today that I think affects all of us, and that subject is limiting beliefs. What stops us from achieving the greatness that we could probably achieve if we broke free from the shackles of those beliefs. The elephant is a fantastic example of this. When an elephant is small, it's tied to a 3.5 foot stick driven into the floor and it can't get away from it. And even as that elephant grows, its mindset tells it, oh, I can't get away from this stick, I can't get away from this stick. So a fully grown elephant that's capable of lifting 1/2 ton, dragging 3/4 of a ton, uprooting a tree, will stay tied to this stick in the ground or this little bit of wood on a shelter that is over its head. Now, if the driver was big enough, it would do something about it. If you set fire to that shelter, I guarantee you it would drag that piece of wood out and it would flee, because suddenly its desire to survive is bigger than its limiting belief. So the question, I suppose, is, are your driving desires bigger than your limiting beliefs? For most people, we struggle with this. Now, as a human being, you're only actually born with 2 fears, and fear is what drives most of our limiting beliefs. And in training, I will regularly say to people, what do they think these fears are? Now, don't get me wrong, fear is not a bad thing. Fear is designed to keep us alive. Fear is a thing that stops us from going and playing with the nice shiny traffic out on the road. Fear is a thing that stops us from climbing over the fence at the zoo to play with the nice cats. Fear is not a bad thing in the right context. But we live our life through too many limiting fears, not survival fears. So I ask people, what are the 2 fears that you think you're born with from the minute that you come out and the doctor slaps your ass? And I get a lot of answers like hunger. And again, good answer. But the minute the doctor smacks you on the ass and you open your eyes, you don't think, oh, I'm a bit peckish. Death is another one that comes up quite a lot. Again, great answer. But the minute the doctor smacks your ass and you open your eyes, you don't think, oh, this looks great, but I'm going to die at some point. It's not how it works. You have 2 fears that you're born with and 2 fears only. Everything else is learnt, which means everything else can be unlearned or pushed past if the driver is big enough. So what are the 2 fears? The fears that you're born with are the fear of falling and the fear of loud noises. We know instinctively that these are bad. Now, if you're like me, and I believe you probably are, when your children were small, you'd have them in your arms and you used to just drop them a little bit. And that little movement of just dropping a tiny bit would make the baby go, bah, 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 bah. And we would think it's hilarious and we take pictures of it and videos and show it to absolutely everybody. But we are using, unfortunately for that child, one of the only 2 fears that it has against it in that moment. But I want you to all to ask yourself, what is your driving fears that's creating your limiting beliefs? How do you pull away from that stick? What can you make a big enough driver? Is the fear big enough? Is the goal big enough? If it is, you can start to make movement. If not, then you're going to be tied to this stick like that elephant for a very, very long time. Right, thank you for the time. See you soon.